Street Fight listeners, welcome to the show. We're here to take your calls. Sunday Night Street Fight. I'm hearing the song twice right now. I'm hearing myself. Jason, I'm hearing myself. Hey everybody, we're starting the show. The number to dial is 614-655-3887. Oh, I am. Yeah, I think they can hear us. We should take it out. We are here to take calls one more time. Yeah. Or did some malicious compliance. Maybe you hooked up somebody on some drugs. Whatever it may be. We want to hear from you. Call in. Let us know what's going on. We'll be answering the phone for the next 2 hours like we do every single Sunday night from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Shells B, you sound okay. We sound great.
Oh,
great.
it's fine. Chels B, thank you for the feedback. We're working on it.
Thanks, Poochie. He said my shirt's great.
Well, that's
It
nice.
says Earth Killer on it.
Well, that's not great at all.
Well, no, but I think it means it in a way of like, stop being such an Earth Killer. You know
war is an earth killer.
Yeah. I mean, Death Trader shirts are fucking the greatest.
Yeah.
Because they all say like stuff that sounds mean and badass. And
yeah.
That's why I purchased them.
They're,
every one of them. I think I own, I would say 8 out of the 10 that they're selling at any given time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good mix, an ironic maybe way, but when I was a kid, I had a shirt that I made myself with iron-on letters, and I put "kill violence" on it.
Yeah, that's cool though.
Yeah, because it's like an oxymoron, or it's like.
I gotta ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I was thinking about this the other day because I don't know what I was watching. Must have been a throwback thing or something from the 70s or something showing pictures from the 70s. But you bringing this up now made me have to ask, how the fuck did they there was that whole period of time where the iron-on letters were like the only way to get a message on your shirt, and it was so stupid looking. Like, guys would just like iron on the word "bad company" on their shirt in that really weird, like bubbly kind of font. And I'm like, can I get back to? Do they still sell that? Or is that all they had available? Was there no screen?
No, of course not.
I had no idea.
No, the people that owned the small screen printer shops back in the 70s made a fucking mint. There's that Surf Ohio guy that made so much money. Do you remember that?
Surf Ohio? Yeah. And
it was a big inside joke that became a huge thing. But yeah, all they had was iron-on letters. I also used to buy baseball tees and put iron-on letters on them.
I mean, I think
the velvet ones are the best.
Yeah,
and Joanne Michaels has tons of them. You go to any sewing shop, they've been sitting on the shelf for decades.
Yeah, it seems fucking cool now to do the letters because throwback is never going to the 70s again or the 80s. Like, style's not going to go back that far. It never does. It basically, what happens is style only goes back, the nostalgic styles only go back like 20 years because the 60s is basically like the way that we used to look at like the 30s and 40s now, where when we were kids, you'd be like, the fucking 30s, or like when you watch Happy Days and you'd be like, that shit ain't cool. None of that's cool.
I disagree.
Really?
Because it all rolls in on itself. Because there was a hippie thing back in the 90s. That's why fucking Dazed and Confused got made.
Yeah.
There was all kinds. People relived the 60s and the 90s, and then people are reliving it now, and all of that stuff still gets through. So, yeah, you can still do velvet Velvet. I think velvet letter would work.
I'm going for it. I'm gonna make a Bad Company shirt.
Yeah,
I think it's cool to just I think kids had to get the letter. Like somebody, Mom, will you go get me a B, an A, a D, or an AC/DC?
Well, yeah, because you showed you actually cared about the band. I mean, the limited knowledge I had of that was that you couldn't get band shirts anywhere except for like magazines.
Yeah.
Unless you drove downtown. So like when I was 14 and 15, we would have to convince like a senior to drive us downtown to go get UFO pants, to go get a Megadeth shirt, whatever, Motorhead shirt, whatever, punk shirts. That was only in one place. And they didn't even, at that point in the 70s, they didn't even have any of that.
You're right about that, actually.
You just had to take a Sharpie and write Black Sabbath on a shirt.
You're totally right about that, because when I was I would have had to have been I was in 4th grade, because I've told the story before about when I got in trouble for wearing it. But when I was in the 4th grade, my aunt, my cool aunt, went and got me a Motley Crue t-shirt. And like nobody in my school was wearing band t-shirts.
Yeah.
Nobody. I was the only kid in elementary school.
I bet.
with a band t-shirt, and it was Motley Crue, and it said Kickstart My Heart on the back.
Right.
And it had like the boys from Motley Crue and
that's great
on the front of it. And like,
yeah, that was a come up. Now the Coles has that shit.
I know. And like,
it's even kick heart my shart or something.
Yep. And I also got called in. You know, I got called in the office in 10th grade. And that's what you're talking about, too, is how you had to go downtown to get shirts and shit like that. I got called in the office in 10th grade because I was wearing a Fear Factory t-shirt. And the teacher was, like, fucking up my ass about, like, if I was a thug. And, like, what's that supposed to mean? What's Fear Factory? Are you trying to instill fear in people and stuff like that? And I was like, it's a fucking band, dude. It's a rock and roll band.
I mean, I remember you would go and you like I said, to order from catalogs, I'd have to go to Kroger, get like $33.95 together and mail it to the company and just wait until the shirt came. You have no idea what was happening on the way. You just took, I mean, $34 was so hard to fucking get, and then you just throw it in the mail and hope it gets there and something comes back.
Holy shit. Outer Organism said I got 10 days off 10 days of in-school suspension in 8th grade for wearing an Eagles Hell Freezes Over tour shirt.
What the fuck? Yeah,
that's nuts, man. Hell was allowed when I was younger. Because,
you were allowed to talk about hell?
You were allowed to say hell. I remember my dad telling me I was allowed to say hell, and I was like, what? I'm allowed to say hell? My dad told us we were allowed to say hell and jackass, and then immediately took jackass away from us.
Everything was a jackass.
Oh, my God. I'll never forget it, because I remember we were in the back of the car, the whole family, and I'm fucking saying, jackass, you're a jackass. And Jason's like, you're a fucking jackass. You're a jackass. And then they were like, he was like, it means donkey, so we're allowed to say it. And we were just jackass back and forth. Yeah. And they were like, you guys aren't allowed to say jackass anymore. You're not taking it in the spirit it was off.
Yeah. Yeah. No HE double hockey sticks?
We're allowed to say hell.
Yeah.
Because hell's a place.
Where we're all going.
We also weren't allowed to say what the hell. My parents were real weird about cussing, dude. I didn't grow up in a cussing house. I don't know if that's rare or what. Because
no, there was a lot less cuss. I mean, you used to get in trouble. You weren't allowed to say fart and stuff. People who got their mouth washed out with soap still. My parents cussed all the time, and I could tell they didn't mind. But I remember when I turned 7, I like snuck into their bed and it was like, they're like, oh, happy birthday, you're 7. And I was like, can I start cussing now? I'm ready. I'm old enough. I know how to say fuck. I know how to say shit and damn. I've been saying it. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to handle it.
Yeah, man. Our parents were real fucking wild about cussing. So the other Saturday night, right? Or Friday. It would have been Friday night. It was 30 degrees. And it was shitty here. It was gray and 30 degrees, and it was terrible, and I hated it. But I was like, I'm going to do my full walk, 20 miles, full walk, did the full fucking shit out there.
Impressive.
I walked 20 miles.
In 30?
It was 30 degrees. I walked 20 miles.
Yeah.
And I got home. I fucking ordered my food, which was free because Katie got DoorDash gift cards or whatever that is, whatever they do from work. So we got free DoorDash food. I took a shower and I was eating within an hour. I was ready to go, like within an hour of me getting home to like kind of hang out. We were going to just cuddle and hang around the house. They'd been sitting around the house all day. The food gets there. I go to get the food. I grab the food. I'm out of the shower. I'm feeling great. I am feeling like top level. I've achieved everything for the day. And then I just go like this. I go, man, I'm in freaking heaven. And then they both started laughing at me. And then just for the rest of the weekend now, they say, are you in freaking heaven again?
Yeah.
And it was such an accident because I don't ever say freaking.
Oh, no.
I don't watch my language, and I don't know why it happened.
Yeah, now you're in trouble, though, because you're never going to live that down.
It's going to, they act like it's my catchphrase. My freaking, hey, are you in freaking heaven today?
What's the freaking problem?
Yeah.
I do. I mean, I like non-cussing words. I say geez Louise. Like, I do it. I used to do it as a joke, but then I realized I'm like, I've said it like 100 times today. Like, it's my mannerism now. It's not just like a ironic thing. I say geez Louise instead of like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, frickin' is embarrassing.
And I say fudging. I say fudging a lot.
You should never say friggin'.
Frick is, yeah. I've never been a frick person. I say fudging, though, because I like that one.
I just say fucking. I mean, but I got a 17-year-old that I don't have to worry about if she goes to school. There would be issues. You know what I'm saying? Like, if she curses at school and she gets in trouble, you know?
Yeah, friggin' dummy in the chat's feeling a little attacked right now.
And it's frickin'. I just don't like frickin'.
Because it's the CK.
I don't mind freaking. But I think you should just use... And I think friggin' dummy's being a goof. Too,
that's their freaking. That's their freaking name.
That's a freaking name. Are they in freaking heaven or what? You know, I'm in freaking hell. That was so weird, man. This is just not
trying
something.
To switch it up.
I guess.
See, and the people are hateful about it. I think it's great.
I felt so good for 2 seconds, and then I got made fun of.
Battlestar. What did they say on Battlestar? Frackin'.
Yeah. Also had a fun thought experiment last night that was feeling real good to me. Gwen had friends over. She didn't have friends over ever. It's probably been 2 years.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah. I
Yeah.
haven't heard about that in a while.
Yes.
It used to be the spot, and then it just dried up.
Yeah, it has to have been 2 years since she's had friends over. So she has friends over. They're hanging out in the room. And I was just like, what if I just fucking took my shirt off and went and sat on the couch?
Yeah.
And turned the TV on and then just kept yelling to keep it down because I got work in the morning and I can't hear the TV.
Yeah. Yeah. They got to know.
They probably
These kids got to know.
Yeah, they've never experienced that.
No.
But I did some
living in fear of going to the fucking bathroom. Just like afraid to go in the hallway.
I've done some analysis. I did some thinking about it last night about the whole thing here. Number one, the fucking shirtless dad.
Yeah.
Always was fucking... the shirtless dad was always watching TV. So they weren't even trying to go to bed. Which that was always frustrating to me. And the thing that always set off the shirtless dad was laughing. He fucking could not get over... And then I figured out why that happened. Okay?
Uh-huh.
You didn't choose to stay the night at the friend with the good parents' house.
Right.
Because they would make you come in. If you're 16 and you're staying the night at some kid's house, you're staying the night there because they have liberal curfew hours. Because why not? You would just sleep in your own bed.
If you had to go to bed at 8 every night or 9 p.m. on a Friday.
Yeah. Yeah. And you just stayed there for liberal curfew hours, or like they let you smoke in the house, or they would host They would buy some beer. There's some beer that you could steal inside the house. But you did have to deal with, like, the angry, shirtless dad in the living room. And fucking guy couldn't go in his room and watch TV. It had to be fucking right in the living room. So you were stuffed in a little room with your friends. And he was always mad. And he always had to go to work in the morning. And it didn't matter what fucking day of the week you stayed
Or time.
there. Yeah. And he was up anyway.
He's pushed to the damn brink, man. I never wanted to stay there. No, that was usually an accident. That was usually when like other parents weren't hosts. Like we usually had my parents always let us come over. Then I had other parent friends, but then there was one kid that was fourth on the list, and that was his sitch. So it'd be like, nobody can do it this Friday. And it's like, well, he's got 64 and golden eyes, so we'll just all huddle on the bed and never fucking leave. Just eat Doritos for dinner.
Yeah, somebody actually on Twitter, because I posted a little bit about it yesterday, somebody on Twitter said they saw their first penis because they were laughing so hard in their friend's bedroom, and the dad fucking got so pissed off at him that he came running into the room without any clothes on and screamed at him.
What?
I mean, it is your house.
Yeah, I get it.
And if it's the 90s, then that's not even considered like a weird thing.
It is a weird thing.
It's weird, but like you saw your friend's dad's balls a lot when, like, in the 90s.
Never did.
Like, they
Not
would
once.
wear robes and weird shit all the time. Like, I feel like that
Tidy
was a
whities
thing.
for sure.
Yeah, tidy whities. I saw a lot of my friends' dads in their underwear, and men back then. There's only one kind of underwear men wore, and it was tidy whities, unless you were like a guy that has a lot of sex with a lot of different people. Then you got bikini briefs.
Sure.
There's two kinds of underwear back then.
Yeah. I need to get some bikinis. I think I don't know what I was gonna say.
Psychic Gasoline said my dad wore an ill-fitting robe with balls almost always visible.
My dad did too, but not when people were over. But I also think, like, if you are mad, when kids make you mad, like, I definitely will run in there in the middle of doing anything at all. You know?
Yeah.
Like, covered in bike grease, like, brushing your teeth. It's just like, you can't fucking jump. This is an upstairs apartment. You can't fucking jump on the floor anymore. Those days are fucking over.
Yeah. I was over at a friend's house last night, and there were 3 kids there, and they were playing. And somebody went upstairs, and he came back downstairs, and he was like, hey, I got a question for you, to, like, the owner of the house. He's like, hey, does that recliner you have up there, does that, like, come apart in 2?
Who?
He goes, so the kids were playing upstairs. And apparently there was a recliner, and we're standing in the kitchen, and he comes downstairs and he goes, hey, I had a question. Does that recliner upstairs, does that, like, the back come off and it, like, turns into 2 pieces? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, woo.
Yeah, that was close.
There was a walk down the stairs that was quite uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Said all 3 of the kids narked on each other too. Incredibly, they were just like, it was, there's 3 people pointing at the other one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I explained what it was. I know how kids work. I'm a kid expert. They were jumping on the back of the chair.
Right.
Because that's like really, literally every single problem with children is that they jump. Like all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all jumping.
I mean, they bouncing off the walls.
Yeah.
Just testing also the weird angles and integrity of any furniture. Just like, what if I stand with my foot against the leg of this chair,
Yeah.
Just kind of push it up, mash it up against the wall.
Oh my God.
Let me flip it upside down and sit on the legs horizontally.
Arisamia Trifilum in the chat said, my neighbor showed like all the kids a nude Polaroid of her dad.
Nice, yeah. Well, that was common.
Yeah. I mean, if you have a naked picture of you inside the house and you have a kid, then if they find it.
They found it.
Yeah, my grandpa died. When my grandpa died, my dad was like going through his shit at his house to like, most of it you throw away because it's junk. But they got in this chest, and this motherfucker had just all kinds of naked pictures of himself and with his wife and stuff like that. And I was just like, well, that's got to be, my sister told me about it. I didn't talk to my dad about it, but I bet that was weird for my dad.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some naked Polaroids of myself to leave in my stuff. So whoever has to pack it up, they get that fucking last fuck you from me. That rude awakening.
And something else that happened was like, somebody was in here mentioning that like a teacher showed pictures of him nude with just a cowboy hat over their junk, and that's bad. You don't want to show 8th graders that, but I will say,
yeah, we had a teacher's naked scandal too.
We did. You did?
Yeah, we had in the band room, some kid was like, it was like a substitute teacher day, and they're like, hey, let's watch an old concert, which is like so nerdy. Like it was so nerdy, but they're like, they pull out the VHS tape, they turn it on, all of a sudden it turns into a porno.
My fucking daughter was in school. They have these smart boards at school. And one of the teachers was putting something up on the smart board, and it was fucking naked pictures of his wife.
Oh no, dummy!
Who also happened to be a substitute teacher at the school sometimes.
No! You gotta be way back. I would go to the school and say, my phone can't hook up to any of this. I have an R-rated phone. It's happened to me now too, actually, because the kids are like, can we use your phone to do stuff? And I'm like, no, you can't anymore. This is a divorced man's phone. All kinds of, she'll be like, why is there pictures of butts on your phone? Someone just sent you a picture of their butt.
Why is there pictures of butts on your phone? What's this, the butt? Who puts a butt on their
My
phone?
dad looks at butts.
She thinks it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Tells her teacher, my dad loves looking at butts. I don't know why. Butts are so funny, aren't they?
God, they make me crack up too. We have the same sense of humor.
Yeah, man. When Gwen told me about that, she was like, don't get mad. Don't like say anything, but this is what happened. And I said, that's the funniest story I've ever
That's
heard.
amazing.
I mean, these kids all seen naked people by the time they're in high school. I mean, they've all looked at porno. There's just...
Yeah.
Unless your parents are crazy, they've all looked at porno. It's not a big deal.
I can't imagine anybody can make this fucking mistake.
I know. Well, I guess like if you bring up your phone...
Yep.
If you're hooking up your phone to the smart board...
Yep.
To make something happen... And then, let's say...
You go to a screenshot, and then all of a sudden shows your gallery.
Yeah, you're going to a screenshot, and you open up the phone thing, and then you go like this, right? We're now in the phone. Then you go like this. You hit the button here to get into your gallery.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I'll just scroll to it. It's right there. And then, boom. Your wife's naked in the phone.
Or, I mean, whenever I try to get to the gallery, it always is in the wrong folder, and then I have to open it, and then it just shows 20 individual pictures,
Yes.
Which, I mean, there's really decrepit memes, and then there's also, like, nudity.
Yeah. Big mistake. Very funny, though. Very funny story from my daughter. I really loved it. And I think we got some calls?
No.
Whoa! No calls tonight?
It's
We're
a
just
chat
gonna
show.
Chitty chat it up. That's fine with me. Hey, if you don't want to call, you don't got to call.
We don't need to
My
hear.
friendos. Yeah, we'll take the night off. 614-655-3887 is the number. I suppose if you're in the chat, you are looking at that phone number so you know, and you just decided not to call, which is fine. Also, Jason, can you... Oh, I can play audio, can I? All right, give me 2 seconds.
Oh, fuck. My friend gave a presentation in women's studies in college, and we knew she was going to pull up her Gmail, so we sent an email with the subject, "How was that sex party?" And it was it was in bold because it was a new one.
How was that
Angie.
sex party?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it happens a lot. I've even had text messages where people were like, oh, shit, that text message came through during a presentation at work. Like, just the text message. I would turn all of my notifications to not reveal what is coming through text message.
Dude, I think what really needs to happen is that...
That's what I did.
You needed phone. You need a sex phone and a work phone.
That's true. You need your X-rated phone. They should new Verizon X-rated phones where you can do gambling and escorting. You can do it's your OnlyFans phone.
Yeah, I think because it feels like you could have two phones, especially with a lot of jobs I think supply the phone. So just don't accidentally put sex stuff on the work supplied phone. I mean, when I was working at the cable company, they gave me a Nextel.
Okay.
And, you couldn't do anything with a Nextel. But, what are you going to do? I ended up buying a smartphone anyway because I didn't want none of my drug information. It's playing.
Ain't nobody going to tell me how to live?
Yeah. Here, everybody. I promise I'd do it. Here we go. Okay, so that's one Ain't Nobody Gonna Tell Me How to Live. But we all know there's more than one Ain't Nobody Gonna Tell Me How to Live. So let's do the big one, Brent.
Oh, this is new news and nobody gonna tell me how to live?
Ain't nobody gonna tell me.
Is this a new segment?
Snowflakes, here's a news flash. Ain't nobody gonna tell me how to live.
Yeah.
Snowflakes, here's a news flash. Ain't nobody gonna tell me how to live.
All right, so this was in reference to Prison Planet Paul.
Paul J. Watson,
Paul Joseph Watson said...
the English hermit?
Yeah, he said, retweet if you will go to prison before taking the vaccine. So that is Paul Joseph Watson.
We'll go to prison instead of the vaccine.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know what that means?
That's a good idea.
That man will not let nobody tell him how to live.
So true.
He's a maverick. And but so the reason I brought that up is because there is a reply on that post that baffled me completely. I want to see if maybe we could try to get into the head of this man who is a reply guy to Prison Paul.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Fuck.
Prison Planet. I don't know who knows what's going on. Prison Planet, Alex Jones website.
Yeah, and
he's also was he the punk rock is the new conservatism guy?
no, he's British. He's the British.
Yeah, I know
guy.
that. Yeah, he's a limey.
I thought he was the guy. So anyway, I was this guy says this. Hold on. I'm triple jabbed, got the booster, but I will never take another one.
This is too far. They've gone too damn far.
I'm prepared to lose my job and my house over it. They'll have to take my kids out of my cold, dead hands before they get them. I'm done. So I was so curious about, like, why do you think somebody would resist the booster?
Omicron. They're tired of Omicron. They're like, I'm enough. I've had enough. God damn it.
Well, that's what the Moderna's. Oh, he's the conservatives are getting better at humor guy.
Like
liberals are
the left can't meme.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's pretty much a like, ain't nobody gonna tell me how to live guy.
Now he is.
Now
Previously, he's like a convert. He's like a born again.
Trump told him how to live. And you know what? Oh, I got other news about Kid Rock / Monster Truck. I think I'm going to do a full episode of an emergency episode of American Podcast
Smart.
this week to really dig into this.
It's also funny. People were like, "Oh, it sucks. We should have put that on Butt Rock." And I was like, Brian has a whole Kid Rock miniseries.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do an American Podcast. I have a
I wanna do
guy.
it.
Yeah, and I mean, I have another person we could get on too that might be fun. So
We gotta do it at karaoke too.
yeah. Oh my God, yeah. Ain't Nobody Gonna Tell Me How to Live is my karaoke song now. Monster Truck's John Harvey recently. This is from Loudwire.
Okay.
Monster Truck's John Harvey recently said on the Loaded Radio podcast he is super offended by the criticism he's received for collaborating with Kid Rock on Don't Tell Me How to Live.
Wait, this is the voice of Don't Tell Me How to Live.
Well, this
The
is
curly-haired Monster Truck. He's the lead singer or whatever?
this is Monster Truck.
Him.
Yeah. No, well, people keep telling me Monster Truck's the band and he's got a different name, but
he's Monster Truck.
His name's Monster
He
Truck.
is now Monster Truck forever.
Yeah.
When he gets thrown in the SJW prison, he's going to be registered as Monster Truck.
Snowflakes, here's a news flash. Ain't nobody gonna tell me how to live. Snowflakes, here's a news.
So yeah, he's offended. John Harvey, also known as Monster Truck,
He admitted out loud he was offended.
he did. He said he's super
He
offended.
lost.
He's a snowflake. He needs a newsflash.
Why did he go from not giving a fuck to now giving a fuck?
I think he always gave a fuck, dude. I think this is what happened to Monster Truck. He got the chance to be in a Kid Rock song.
Yes.
He's just some Canadian guy.
Yeah, it was a career opportunity. He thought it would be totally cool to collaborate, right?
Yeah, and he's a Canadian guy.
He wants to be American.
Maybe, but I mean,
he's such
you
a
would
copycat
have.
ass bullshit, man.
You would though. If
It's
you're in a
McDonald
fucking,
ass shit. It's this fucking like American patriot. Oh, if I wasn't in Canada, I'd be fighting for freedom in America right now.
What I'm saying though is, if you're in a butt rock band, you don't want to just be stuck in Canada.
No.
I mean, the amount of money you get from coming down to the U.S.
Right.
with
You got to break in
Yeah.
if you're doing that shit.
I mean, if
that's
you're-
not going to fly in Canada. We've met Canadian people. We have Canadian friends.
yeah.
They're not Monster Truck people.
Oh, and they fucking let people tell them how to live left and
Oh.
right. They got
They're
socialized
like,
medicine.
oh, they love it. They're like, they recommended we don't go outside, eh? They love it.
They're
They
all
were-
about being told how to live.
They weren't even allowed to leave their damn country, and they didn't even revolt.
We'll stay inside, you know. It's fine with me. I wear a mask outside in the park. I don't care.
Yeah, in my car.
Yeah, it's fine with me. While some rock fans have gotten a good giggle out of the track, others were not as pleased with it. Canadian hard rock trio Danko Jones shared their disappointment with Harvey in a series of tweets. I don't know Danko Jones.
I'm not that into.
You don't know him?
I don't know my maple rock bands.
I'll look up Danko Jones real quick because we
he
have
looks
time.
tough.
He does. He's got a good look
He's a
about
badass.
him.
Okay.
Oh, he was in a rock trio.
Why don't? Yeah, we know what that means. Are they doing a French thing? Is that to say that they're French? We know what Green Day was a trio. They don't call themselves the Green Day Trio, right?
Yeah, but the band was called Danko Jones.
Danko Jones, the trio. That means three. We
Oh,
get it.
I'm just trying to.
No,
figure
that's
it
their
out.
designation on Google is as a rock trio.
Yeah, but I'm saying in the thing it says Canadian hard rock
Trio.
TROIO. Troio.
No, that's not it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. That's what I was trying to figure out. Danko Jones shared their disappointment with Harvey in a series of tweets. They called rock a piece of shit
Okay. That's a lot.
and condemned Monster Truck to a lifetime membership in the douchebag Hall of Fame for collaborating with the musician. Listen, he's an older guy. Danko Jones an older guy.
I get
They say
it.
douchebag.
Yeah.
You know, douche. He's a real douche nozzle, you know?
Yeah. That's a little. Yeah, I guess you don't learn.
I mean, I said douchebag in 2010.
Right, that's what I mean. Yeah, but they don't know to cycle it out.
Then you shamed me for it when we met.
Did I?
Oh, yeah, you're the one that got me to stop saying douchebag.
Oh, I hate it.
Yeah, I know. You said that to me. one
Yeah,
time.
sorry, and it worked.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I wasn't a big douchebag guy. I didn't use it that much. I mostly, like, when I think somebody is what other people consider a douchebag, I just call them a dick. Like,
Yeah.
that person's a dick.
Yeah.
I've always just been a, like, what a fucking dick.
Right.
And if they're a dick, you know, like, it's a geek. I say geek a lot now.
Yeah, geek is fun.
Yeah, geek, because in wrestling, you know, the geek is the guys that get beat up, like, they aren't the sub jobbers are geeks. So it's got me saying geek.
I would say douchebag hit a fever pitch to the point where you're talking about like cussing as a kid, where like when kids start cussing, same as jackass. Douchebag became a jackass to the point where it was just like, wow, people thought it was crazy to say that.
Well, it also felt like douchebag turned into a thing where people were like, douchebag turned into a thing where people started saying it like that are douchebags.
Right.
So like a guy that you would stereotype as a douchebag would be like, oh, what a douchebag that guy was. And you're like, no.
Yeah.
Because it's a type. I think like that's a thing people don't get about those sort of insulting type words. Like something like douchebag or something like
specific.
that. It's like, douchebag isn't just anybody you don't like.
Right.
It is like a certain type of person that it's hard to explain, obviously. But
no, when I went to Chicago, and thank you, Matt and Ethan, for inviting us out and having a good time. We went to this bar called Rossi's, which is like this super old bar, but it was right around all of the clubs. Like when we stepped out, it was one of those streets where they close down the streets and like cops just park in the middle of the street with their sirens constantly running, you know? It's like very loud jeans and very aggressive spitters.
Oh, that's me, actually. I'm one of those.
Just really obnoxious. Chicago has a lot of fucking douchebags. For sure. I mean, like, I forgot because there's so much money that the, like, assholery is on, like, a big city level. You know?
Yeah.
And they fucking drink way too much, so they're, like, bigger pieces of shit, too.
Yeah. I mean, Chicago is, one, a drinking place, two, louder than New York, and the people are meaner than in New York.
Yeah.
I've always said it. I hate to be mean, Chicago people, but Chicago people are like, we're Midwest, you know, hey. But they're meaner than any other city I've ever been. The only city I've ever been to that's meaner than Chicago, and it's only on a technicality, because really Chicago's meaner in this place, is Los Angeles.
Yeah, which ain't even bad.
But
they're still softies.
In an objective sense, I've seen more fights in Los
more
Angeles
violence
than I've ever seen.
There's more violence, but the culture is not mean. But there is more violence.
No, it's one of my favorite. That's my favorite place in the country.
It's a very nice, chill culture, but there is just violence happening on the edges of everything that you're doing.
Yeah,
Chicago. I would agree with you. In that, like, actually the only people I know in Chicago are all gay or queer. I do not fuck with hetero people from Chicago. It's like a horrible culture. I don't fuck. It's just like really bad place.
I know, like,
too much money.
Yeah, I think I know like 2 or 3 people from there, and I really like them. Nate, my buddy Nate from Everything Elite, is very cool. But like, most of the people I know there are nice. Or I can get along with them, but buddy, I gotta tell you, dude, I've never seen so many people yelling at each other.
Yeah.
And New York is nuts. New York is a fucking crazy place where people scream into their phones and shit.
Yeah.
But like, there's a Chicago anger. That's why Mancow's from there.
And they smoke fucking cigarettes every 14 minutes.
Yeah, that's cool though.
No, it's expensive. They're paying like $17 a pack to do that.
That's true. That's true. While some rock fans have gotten it. So anyway, Danko Jones, though, addressing Danko Jones' tweets, Harvey said, I don't want this to come across the wrong way. That is also allowing people to tell you how to live.
Yeah.
I mean, if ain't nobody going to tell me how to live, I don't care how it comes across. I'm fucking, hey, snowflakes, here's a news flash. But it feels a little opportunistic to me. It also feels like he's a very angry person. I don't subscribe to that, and I'm not an angry person. By the way, the guy in the Kid Rock song that is like an angry person's anthem.
You're saying he's not the song where Kid Rock just started yelling at everybody? Flicked everybody off and wrote a middle finger into space?
Yeah.
That wasn't anger to you?
No, Danko Jones, the guy that said bad stuff about it, is the angry one to Monster Truck. Monster Truck is a pussy. I mean, I hate to say it. Monster truck is. I mean, I feel like I could tell him how to live.
Can you check the room, Jason? Someone says they're in there.
You don't see anything?
I don't see a damn thing.
Refresh, maybe.
Sure. So monster truck is bothered. Oh my God, there it is.
We got calls.
Yeah.
Well, let's take them.
What was that about?
Oh no, we're gonna have to burn through them. It looks like.
No, we're fine. There's not that many.
Okay, let's do it.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who we talking to tonight?
Hey, it's Lawrence from Kansas City.
Hey, Lawrence.
How's it going?
Quick question.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question first? How would you respond if
Yeah.
I told you how to live?
I mean, like, whatever.
Okay. All right. Lawrence is not a part of the lifestyle. What's up, Lawrence?
Oh, not a lot. I was the guy that called in with the aggressive call and when we all called in sick to street fight.
Oh, yeah.
I am I'm driving a truck back to Kansas City from Des Moines. I've heard a couple people call talking about like getting into trucking and kind of wanted to like they're all on the non-union side and I'm a Teamster. I kind of wanted to call and highlight like the differences between what it can be and what a lot of these companies that hire people and really take advantage of them. So I work for the same company as Alex from Indian Death Cult. Like I drove the little brown trucks for years and years, and then last January I switched over to driving tractor trailers. And like listening to, I forget the caller's name,
Matt.
that was talking about how Matt,
Yep.
how like he had to pay for the school and he had to spend like a month with his crazy trainer that like took him to his house and had just a fucked up situation. So on the union side, like we don't train for a month, we train for 4 days, and then they're just like, okay, you're a truck driver.
Okay.
But we get paid for it, and it makes it really accessible to people that normally wouldn't have that opportunity. And like, you know, I'm gonna end up at home tonight. I'm not out on the road for, you know, a week at a time.
So you do a local route?
Well, sort of. Like the longest I drive in a day is 600 miles, and then I go home and sleep in my own bed. And some of the like contractor folks that will like bid work off of the job board for the lowest price are out. You know, sometimes they'll be out for like 2 or 3 weeks at a time before they see home. And they're paid by the mile. So like right now I'm, you know, driving 62 miles an hour. And like, I'm not worried if like I break down because, you know, I'm in a union and they'll come and pick me up in a tow truck.
Okay.
But sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought.
No, you're fine.
And the union also, like, they'll kind of help to protect you from the bosses and stuff like that.
Yeah. And you know, like I was a union steward when I drove the little trucks, but it's a totally different thing with tractor trailers. Like most of our activity with our stewards goes towards like, well, hey, you know, I didn't get paid correctly for this thing, but we've got a system of redress to where we can get that fixed. Or, you know, if a boss says something shitty to you, you can file a grievance and take them to task.
They definitely, your boss cannot tell you how to live, right?
No, they cannot.
Ain't nobody, really.
Ain't nobody. I guess most people aren't gonna tell me how to live.
I love it. I love
Most
it.
people ain't tell me how
that's
to
not
live.
the saying. That's not the saying, Lawrence. It's ain't nobody
There ain't nobody.
gonna tell me how to live.
But the real thing that caught my attention was, Matt's probably working for a company that's absolutely ripe for organization. It's just tough to build that when you've got all these drivers out on the road. So I try to talk to people that are like independent contractors or even owner operators, because at least up into the 90s, like the Teamsters would allow owner operators to like join the union and be under a contract, which is like it's not quite as strong as a company driver like relationship with their contract, but that's something that anyone that like works in trucking should look into. Like find your Teamsters local that's near you and ask what they can do for owner operators, because I know that we at least used to accept owner operators into our union.
Tight.
But
How did you get in the union? How did you get in the union?
I'm a third generation Teamster.
So you got to be born into it.
Well, what's funny is my dad was like, no, don't go to work at UPS. Like it's a shitty work culture. You'll make a bunch of money. I was like, ain't nobody gonna tell me how to live. And
That's exactly what you should say.
And that, yeah, it is a shitty work culture for the most part. But my grandpa worked for Western Auto driving a truck, so it's kind of a family trade. Like my brother drives a tow truck, and then I've got another brother that no one talks to, and he's not great. But I just wanted to call and encourage, kind of hype anyone that's in the trade to look into joining the Teamsters, even if you think you can't, like for some reason, like talk to an organizer, and worst case scenario, they're going to say, well, hey, like you need to do this legwork and show me if there's interest in your shop. But the Teamsters will come and organize your bar and your shop, whatever. Like we cover almost every industry.
All right. Well, hell yeah.
But also as far as the like not cussing like thing that you guys were talking about, when my son was getting a little bit older and was starting to like repeat some stuff, I started saying stuff like "gosh darn it" and cheesy rice. And now that he's older, like I'll find myself at work and something will go wrong. I'll be like, cheesy fucking rice. So it's like the worst of both worlds.
Yep.
But,
you're never cool again.
Yeah, I mean, when your kid, like when I did it such a different way than my parents, or actually different from what I thought any parents had ever done. Like I thought I came up with this idea where I just was kind of like to my daughter, I was like, hey, I don't care if you curse. Don't like curse at your teachers. Like you have to hide it from other kids' parents and teachers. But if you're here, I don't give a rat's ass. And that's the way it works in my house. And she fucking handled it perfectly. And she does have a foul mouth. I do have to say that. My daughter has an exceedingly foul mouth. But I don't mind it. It doesn't bother me. I have a foul mouth too, and so does my wife. So, but my parents made it feel like it's really weird because my parents made it feel like you were trash if you cursed, and like they cursed all the fucking time. It was crazy. Like my dad says shit.
Yeah.
Every time he sits up or sits down or stands up, he goes like that's just, he's like shit when he sits down or stands up. It's like they don't say fuck, but it was just like they were just like we do not curse in this house because that is white trash. And it's like motherfucker, you know, you cuss all the time. And I am white trash, okay?
Yeah, I grew up in a house where if you said hell or damn, like you got a bar of soap in your mouth. But then like my parents would fight on the weekend, every weekend, and it would be just the foulest shit I've ever heard. And I was like, but you guys say this shit all the time, and they were like, we don't care. Like, but yeah, my son surprisingly doesn't cuss. He's like the sweetest little kid, and both his mom and I have absolutely fell off the wagon about not cussing around him, and he just doesn't do it. I don't get it. But hey, I'm gonna get off. It was really good talking to you guys. Have a good night.
You too.
And yeah, thanks for doing the show.
Yeah, have a good
one.
night. Ain't
Thank you,
no dingy dang. This just in. As we were recording this, Matthew McConaughey announces he will not be running for governor of Texas.
Okay.
Could have won.
Big news.
Could have won. He was actually the numbers that the last numbers before he made the decision were that he could beat Abbott by 35% for Abbott, 43% for Matthew McConaughey.
Okay.
So he beats him pretty handily by 8 percentage points. He beats Beto O'Rourke 49% to 27%.
Yeah, sounds right.
Big fucking loser. Beto O'Rourke's a massive loser. And you know why? It's because he said he was going to take guns, which equals telling people how to live. And people in Texas do not want to be told how to live.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what kind of, intense narcissism it takes to keep thinking that you should be in charge of shit when no one wants you to be in charge of shit. It's just like people want to believe in this loser. It's like people want to believe in a loser, and it's like, but he's a fucking loser. We need winners that accomplish things.
Remember when his strategy was just like, I'm going to start cussing now?
Yeah.
It brings us around to our other stuff. When people are like, did you really say you're going to be taking guns away from people? And he's like, you're fucking right, I am. And I was supposed to just be like, oh shit. Now they're cursing, you know? That's
dangerous talk.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
What's up, Street Fight? This is Robin.
What is up?
Long time, first time, or whatever.
Sweet. What's up?
Yeah, so I got a question about, like, I guess living like an anarchist lifestyle, right? It's like, how do you turn down shit that you don't agree with without being seen as just a killjoy asshole?
Well, one.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to, like, the thing about it is like, there's gonna be things that you're going to have to do that you might not agree with. But honestly, the most fun in the world for me, it's like kind of my character around the house. It was like with Sabra hummus. If I see Sabra hummus, I'm like, oh, you're eating the Sabra hummus. Exactly. And then you just kind of, you needle at it. I mean, anything you say that's like in a good humored sort of way, I think like people respect it.
No, they don't.
Well, they don't respect it, but they're not mad about it. What kind of things are you talking about?
I think
I'm disliked
so, like,
by average people.
yeah, definitely same. I feel like Brett would like, kind of fall into the situation often. Like, so because I was thinking a lot about it at like Thanksgiving, right? Because like I don't celebrate like colonial genocide, and like so I was turning down invites and all that, and it's like officially no fun on National Day of Mourning.
That's great. I admire it.
And like, thanks, I guess. Yeah, and like, it's I don't really know what to do there. Like, is it best to like launch into like this is why colonialism is bad, or like, because then people like really shut down in my experience.
I wouldn't. I would say you have to live your life. You should live your life by your own rules, and you can't really care about the people that you're going to lose because of that. I wouldn't go as far as saying I'm not going to participate in Thanksgiving because you're garbage that you do. I think it's always. I mean,
I hope it doesn't come off that way, but some people kind of take it that way.
Oh, everybody will. No, I mean that's just boundaries, and that's there are people that can respect that, and those people will stick around. And then the ones that don't like when you say I'm not comfortable celebrating this holiday, I'm not that person. It's like the roller coaster thing. It's like I don't ride roller coasters, and then everybody sits around and kind of convince them to do it. And it's like I don't want to do this, and these are my reasons why. And that's it. No, don't even explain this means nothing about you. Just say, I'm not participating because of this and because this is how I feel about it. And just, do the boycott thing.
What do you do? I mean, are you like not in, Christmas is fine, right?
I haven't decided on Christmas yet. I guess we'll see. I don't,
okay.
I don't do the like, I fucking hate the like consumerism associated with it. Like,
Me too.
I don't want to buy gifts or receive gifts.
Me too. I hate the consumerism of it too.
No, you
so
don't.
much, but I'm also a coward. Well, I'm cheap. It's not that I don't like it. I'm very cheap.
You're not. You talk about how much money you waste constantly.
How dare you bring up the amount of money I waste? No, I'm constantly freaking out about the amount of money I waste, I guess, is the way it actually works for me. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I don't know if I misgendered you there. But
any pronouns are cool. They is my favorite, but anything's fine with me.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, for me, it's like, I would understand somebody saying they don't want to do this thing. And also would totally, I mean, maybe you can, if you want to like neutralize sort of their being angry about it or whatever, just say like, I'm not into this. It's not going to be fun for me. And the way that I feel about it, it might not be fun for you to have me here. And like that, that's
a really good point.
That's something that like I've had to learn like with my in-laws is that, I used to go every Sunday and I hated it. I hated going there every Sunday, but I did it because that was their tradition and I just was along for the ride. And now I go probably twice a year, and it's because the 2 times I go for Christmas, and then I don't know when the other time is actually. I think I went not too long ago, and like my wife just basically told me like it's no fun having you there, so just don't come. And it's like, yeah, there you go. So
definitely, yeah.
That's the way. I mean, that's the way I handle it. I handle it by the explanation just being like, I don't believe in this, or for you, it's like, I don't believe in this. I don't like this, and fucking, if I went, we would just end up arguing, and that's not fun for anybody.
Yeah, for sure.
We can hang out on Friday, no big fucking deal.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, for me also, the most convincing thing for me is to be having a good time or being or smiling, like while you're doing it. Not to be like fucking angry and hateful at people, you know, like fuck you, this or that, but just to be like, you know, this is for me. This is my decision, and that's it. You know, I'm not gonna explain shit to you. I'm just telling you why I'm not coming. You know, and if they can't deal with it, so be it.
For sure.
But I feel for you because like I try to get out July 4th. And all these motherfuckers during the George Floyd protest, fuck America, burning flags, upside down flag, nobody will budge on fucking July 4th. People think it's like, it's inevitable.
I had a lot of fun on July 4th with my local anarchists during a Fuck America Day. It was a good one.
All right.
Nice.
But yeah, 'cause like I think that's a really good point on the like, you know, if I showed up, I wouldn't be having fun. You know, like I'm vegan. I'm not gonna have a good time sitting around watching this bird get cut open.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean the thing is like none of it's there's
for you.
no piece of this that's for you. You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
is it your family?
Absolutely.
Is it your family that is worried about it, or is it friends?
Some of both. I'm not especially into family stuff. I have
know
some
that.
like uncles and aunts and stuff that live in the state, but you know, everybody else is pretty far away.
Yeah, it's just such a weird thing.
But yeah, shit, even like vegan and like turning down like drinks, like I don't drink. Like people especially take it as like, oh, what, you think you're better than me? I'm like, no, I don't drink. I don't eat meat.
Yeah. No, you're right. But I mean, there is no part of this time that requires your presence, and it's not really set up for you anyway. And I feel like people, I do feel like people would pretty well understand something like that. And yeah, I admire it, you know. And then if you do Christmas, like test out the not buying gifts for anybody and saying like, oh, I don't believe in consumerism, and then let me know how that worked out, because
Yeah, that's where you're going. Brian's a buy nothing day guy.
I'm not too sure how that one's gonna go. Yeah, I definitely went to buy nothing day yesterday or 2 days ago.
The only thing I've ever been able to hold strong at was, and I think this is not fair to take credit for because there's also money issues, but that like I firmly did not want to take my daughter to Disney World, as like she's a kid, she has to go to Disney World. And I somehow was able to like fucking stave that off for the years that it mattered. And I was like, she can go as an adult if she wants to go, but I don't want to treat Disney World like it's this thing that every kid has to do. It fucking sucks. It like is expensive and not a lot of kids can do it. And like, it's the same as the mall, like going to the mall. And I held out on it for the 3 or 4 years my wife was like trying to work it out. I was just like, no, we're not doing it. We're not fucking going to Disney World. And I won that one. But everything else, I'm a coward. And I just do. I go with the flow. But thank you for calling.
Yeah, thanks so much
Good
for the
call.
advice. Really appreciate it.
And also, another thing you can say to people who might not understand this for you is, ain't nobody gonna tell me how to live.
Gonna tell me how to live.
That one
Lots of
also
fun.
works.
Cool.
All right, have a good
Yeah,
night.
thanks so much, guys.
Peace.
Yeah, catch you later. Bye.
Yeah, I started saying National Day of Mourning, and then people are just like, they just frown immediately when you say that. It's like, I also had somebody ask like, was there like a fun thing for kids to tell about the story of Thanksgiving? I was like, no, it's the worst thing you're ever gonna hear.
No,
That's all
it's
it
a
is.
bad
Like, get
story.
ready for it.
That's a bad story.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's funny because if Thanksgiving wasn't based on a lot of really bad stuff, the idea of people sitting and eating is fairly is good.
Yeah, Big
But we
Dinner
have
with
to
the
fucking
Family is great, but yeah.
We have to tie it up into a bunch of bad stuff, which
Yeah.
sucks. That's what I say about fireworks too. It's like
Yeah, fireworks are the greatest.
4th of July, it's the middle of the summer, everybody's having a good
Day
time,
off,
and the
yeah.
government just fucking goes and eats up the coolest day.
I know. Yeah, they're like, this is because of us. They're like, no, it's because we wanted to.
Yeah.
It's because nobody's going to tell us how to live.
Yeah. Yeah. You think they'll play that song on 4th of July in 2022, maybe?
In Upper Arlington?
Anywhere.
You think it'll be timed to fireworks?
No, like in UA, right, they do play music.
Yeah, what did they play? Yeah.
They played a Boot in Your Ass for the Red, White, and Blue song.
Yeah.
I wonder.
No, but yeah, I don't know.
There might be too many.
It's too anti-woke.
No, there's cocaine in it and stuff. I don't think they care about it.
There's not cocaine in that song, is there?
Yeah, he says something about I rip more lines than...
Oh.
I'll get it up. I'll get the lyrics up. I've listened to it 7,000 times. Let's take another call.
I think they're on the line.
Hello?
Hey, yep. Hello?
Hey, what's up? Who's this?
Hey, this is Seth from Waterloo, Iowa.
What's up, Seth?
Not much. I'm just hanging out. So I finally got around to the most recent Buttfest episode today. And you mentioned the 12-minute David Draymond video where he's talking about smoking weed. And it made me wonder, have you ever heard the song Fire It Up by Disturbed?
What is it on? Let me look here. Maybe?
It's on, like, I don't remember the game. It's from, like, 2015.
Oh, I haven't.
Like, it's one of their newer albums. So.
Yeah, I haven't heard that. Why? Is it funny?
It's incredible. It's a Disturbed song about smoking weed.
Oh, my God. Those guys. David Draymond, I'm going to fucking tell you this right now. He is the funniest personality of all of the personalities in all of rock music. Nobody's ever been funnier
100%.
than that guy. Yeah.
It's great because he just can't make a goofy song about smoking weed. He has to pretend it's like this grandiose thing,
God.
like this spiritual, which I mean, I guess doing drugs can be spiritual
Sure.
people, but it's incredible. Like, I have the lyrics in front of me.
I got him up now too.
When I need to spark a bit of inspiration and the melody feels like it's trapped inside, all I need is a little bit of illumination so the rhythm can no longer run and hide.
God, he's the
just
greatest.
I'm about to fire it up right now.
I have to admit, my greatest shame in life is that in high school I had the David Draymond chin piercing.
Oh,
except just
that's
one of them instead of two.
Oh, just one. I was going to say that is not shameful at all. I mean, I looked at that. I looked at it and was like, wouldn't it be funny if I got the David Draymond lip piercing? Like, what he calls them something so gross and I can't find it. It's like pussy something.
Yeah, pussy hooks maybe.
Pussy hooks.
Right?
Pussy hooks. That's what he calls them.
Yeah.
Yeah. He calls them pussy hooks, dude. I don't know. I don't understand him. I'll never understand him for as long as I live because he talks like he thinks he's an intellectual.
Yeah.
But he has pussy hooks in his chin, that's not, intellectual at all. I don't like that at all. It makes me feel bad to hear that.
Yeah, he's just a baffling human being in every respect. I followed him on Twitter back when he still had it, and it was an amazing experience. And I think what sparked me to stop liking Disturbed when I was in high school. So I guess I have to thank him for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've recommended this a few times, but on other shows. But again, what you really want to do is go on YouTube, type Device Song Meetings, David Draymond, and listen to every single one of them, because they are
I think
the greatest videos I've ever heard.
Oh yeah, I think probably realistically my greatest shame is that I bought the Device album the day it came out when I was in high school. It's just
it's not good.
really embarrassing.
That's not good. You were a Draymond head.
Though.
You were a huge Draymond head.
I was a huge Draymond Disturbed fan. Honestly, by the time Device came out, that was like my senior year of high school. And really, I was pretty much over all of that by, I think, like junior year of high school. But like, it freaked me out that I didn't like it anymore, because that meant that like I was changing. So I was like trying to hold on to it.
Yeah.
And I remember Device was the final straw. I listened to it and just
truly bad.
Again,
it's so hard to listen to.
Bad.
Yeah. I mean, the drums don't match the rest of the music, which is really hard to listen to. But that's interesting that you brought that up, that you said that, because like, I remember when I was starting to get into stuff that wasn't like metal and being like really mad at myself, like I was getting old. And we're talking at like 21, 22. And like I'm really liking Radiohead. Okay Computer. That was like kind of the first. Well, no. The first album was Weezer's Blue album. I listened to that and I was like, I really like this, and I was starting to feel bad because I liked Weezer. And then I heard OK Computer, and I was feeling bad about that. So, like, I probably bought 2 or 3 Korn albums after I was, like, sort of done with the whole thing, just because I felt like I had to do it.
Yeah.
Or everybody would think I was soft or something, maybe.
Or you were wrong about...
I was wrong.
You told everybody Korn was going to be the best band ever, and you never change.
No. Yeah, 100%. That was me. It was my parents telling me that, you know, all of this crazy music was just a phase. So I was listening to Mudvayne and just not enjoying it, but just listening to it instead, because listening to like good punk music now starting to like meant that I wasn't 14 anymore, which I guess I didn't like.
Or you made a mistake. You can remember yourself just going wild for that shit. And you're like, that was a mistake. That was uncool to do. But you didn't know it. You're just too hard on yourself.
John Cullen, my co-host on the PODcast, told us a story last week where like his first screen name was like some version of Weezer and Blink 182. And I totally can't remember what it was. But he said that like he changed it to like 2 years later, he changed it to Limp Bizkit from Outer Space, which is a really bad name, but he changed it to that. And he said that he went to all of the places where he had used the other account and said that Weezer and Blink 182 sucked. Because he was trying to prove, like, I'm a heavy metal guy now.
Yeah, I've never been into that. I've always thought that shit fucking sucked.
Yeah. Yeah, so he was like, now I'm a heavy metal kid.
Account. my eBay account is still a Disturbed Maggot 23 sick SIC.
Nice.
Just because I haven't used eBay, and every once in a while I look at buying something on eBay and forget that I still haven't changed that. My first AOL screen name was Limpcorn 420. No, it was Defcorn 420, and I got real bummed out I couldn't fit Limp Bizkit in there. So then later on, I had a Limpcorn 420 too. But yeah, man, I did all the bad. I mean, I was just so into those. When you're a fucking teenager, you're just so into what you're into that nobody can tell you shit, and you just
you don't want to hear anything about other people's taste. Like,
Yeah, and you're not secure enough
Yeah,
to be like, all right, maybe this is a phase, and that's fine. That happens in life. Things change in life. That's something you accept. It's like, no,
Yeah.
I figured it out. I'm done thinking. I know what the best music is. I don't have to listen to anything. I've heard all the old classic rock shit. I've heard the rap shit. I've heard everything. This is what I like. It's Disturbed.
Oh man.
do you
Yeah.
still listen to it sometimes and feel good about it though? Like, where you're like, do you listen to the albums that you were into when you were a teen still and enjoy them?
I can still get with like Slipknot, certain Mudvayne stuff. I tried listening to Disturbed recently and I just couldn't. I think my mistake was I was going through my CDs and found Indestructible by Disturbed, which just front to back, that not just the song, like the entire album just feels like a military commercial.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
I didn't realize it at the time, because it wasn't like I was a big like military person at the time. Like I was still, I think a lot of my core principles were still there. I just didn't really, I was full of shit about them. I didn't know how to like know what they were, I guess. But yeah, listening to that now at like 26, it was just like, oh yeah, the song Indestructible specifically is like, oh, this is straight up about like shooting people in Iraq. Like this is what this song is about.
Yeah.
Well, I do
And
a
just
lot of,
couldn't do it.
I mean, I do the POD cast, obviously, and I do listen to new metal, you know, a fair amount. And like, there are albums I don't think I'll ever listen to again. Like that first Korn album, I think I've heard it enough. Like you did also,
Yeah.
when you got way into a band, you would really play them to such a degree that like, cause like kids just, they love repetition. Kids, I mean, I've watched kids, I mean, my daughter watched the same movie every day for months when she was a little kid, when she was
yeah.
a kid, you know?
That's how it goes.
Yeah. I mean, I still know all the lyrics to all those songs. I can still name off the top of my head every member of like Disturbed and Slipknot and Korn and Mudvayne and all those. And I can't do that for bands that I like currently listen to. But just, yeah, that repetition was so burned in my head from age 12 to 18 or whatever that it'll just never go away.
I have a question for you then, as possibly an expert. Do you know why Disturbed kicked Fuzz out?
I don't know that there was ever I don't know that there was ever a distinct answer. I probably did look into this when I was a kid, though. Like, because I remember I listened to the POD cast episode on MOL or whatever.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Documentary is called, and I think like the diplomatic answer that one of you two like saw or found, like it was just, we had creative differences or whatever. I think that's about it. Like something about like egos being too big or something. Like either you or John or one of the Blink-155 guys, I think said it was probably like he asked for a writing credit or something. And I 100% believe that to be the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, it was me. I do think, yeah, I agree. I do think it was probably a songwriting credit thing. He wanted a songwriting credit, and you know, there's money in that, and he's doing okay. I just wondered if there was like a rumor on like the Disturbed message boards.
No, I wish there probably was, but we didn't have internet going up, so I was all alone in my Disturbed fandom. I had to just like list off facts to friends who didn't give a shit.
So, well, also just say this before we hang up. How funny, Brett, you got to hear this. What Disturbed's website is www.disturbed1.com.
No. How do they make Disturbed
Incredible.
one? That's like an inside joke.
I think they
Well,
couldn't
there.
get
So
disturbed.
I might.
It's for disturbed ones.
So something. Yeah, they call their fans the disturbed ones, but I do wonder if that came before or after the website. If they got the
Yeah.
website, they were like, "Oh, we need to figure out, we need to retrofit a reason to why our website is disturbedone.com."
Yeah, they don't have enough money.
They could have got the record label to pay for it, though. That's
What is
crazy.
actually on Disturbed? It's not
Oh,
even a
yeah.
real site.
It's nothing. Somebody's cyber squatting it
Yeah.
for sure. Which is, hey, that's cool.
Yeah, there's no way.
Or maybe it's just supposed to feel like a secret club, internet club, where you can go with all the disturbed ones.
Sure. I
Yeah.
think it's because they couldn't get disturbed, which is hilarious. Poor guys.
I will say, I think at one point he had song meanings on a blog on that website.
Oh, I gotta find those. Any song meanings by
Yeah,
Disturbed you want to hear, if he's talking especially. I love him. When he starts describing,
they were
I
all
just
text,
start
but yeah.
listening. Yeah, I'll have to take a look for him. Well, thanks for calling. I do know what Stupefy's about.
Yeah, of course.
I think if people didn't know
it's
what
about,
Stupefy.
like, not getting laid or something.
Yeah, he got in a relationship with a beautiful Latina woman, and her parents wouldn't let him let them date. So it is a song against racism, is what he said.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. It really makes you think. Sometimes white people experience racism too, you know?
All right. Well, thanks for calling in. It was fun. It was
Yeah,
good
of
to hear
course.
from you.
Thank you all for
right.
all you do.
Oh,
Y'all have a
thank
good
you.
one.
Peace. Oh, that's so funny, man.
Stupefied.
Stupefied. That's what Stupefy's about.
That's weird.
Yeah. Look in my face, skip in my soul, I begin to stupefy. He couldn't get the chick he wanted, dude.
All because of racism.
And it was her parents' racism.
Right.
You know,
That's tough.
not his race. You know, he's not racist. I would say he probably says he doesn't have a racist bone in his body.
Okay. That's one. Next call. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
What?
Ain't nobody gonna tell me how to be.
Hell yeah. That's what I like to
guys.
hear.
Hey, who's this?
This is William from Council Bluffs, Iowa.
What's up, William? How's it going?
It's going all right.
Anybody
Okay.
telling you how to live?
No, not these days.
Good.
That's good. That's great.
Good. I ain't
Yeah,
nobody
yeah,
telling me.
I got a job earlier this year that's pretty great. I could go into that, but I've been thinking about. So I live in Council Bluffs. It's across the river from Omaha, Nebraska. It's a small town. Omaha's, the biggest city in Nebraska. I grew up over on that side, and when I was growing up, it was very common for people to just shit on Council Bluffs. They call it Council Tucky. Joke about all the meth heads over here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I moved over, and it's a nice small town. And I learned at some point that one of the reasons we have more homeless people here, more unhoused people, is that Iowa just has better access to Medicaid. It's like, we actually do a slightly better job of just taking care of people.
Well, I do want to say this, by the way. I know, Kentucky's really the one that takes like a lot of shrapnel, if you ask me, because the thing about it is, in Ohio, we have Grove City, which we call Grove Tucky, and then they call Council Bluffs Council Tucky, and Pennsylvania, they call it Pennsyltucky. So really, the one getting most of the shrapnel is Kentucky. They're the ones really taking the heat here.
That is a good point. Well, and the other thing about Omaha these days, it's just full of insurance companies, banks, real estate developers, and that's kind of the whole history of the city is, the first wealthy people move into a neighborhood, and then they don't like how close, all of their staff, their house workers, the minorities, the poor people, they move into the neighborhood, they get closer. So the rich people find another neighborhood, they go develop it. Same thing happens, the city gets bigger, they run out of space, they go develop another neighborhood, and it's all, and it still goes on to this day, the whole city is just sprawling out into bland suburban wasteland.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
And Council Bluffs over here is, it's beautiful. Yeah, that's just something that's been on my mind a bit.
It's hard. I went to Chicago this week with someone whose parents told him not to get killed, So, it's still very common for people to think that, to have zero understanding of why there is crime and what actually causes it and, what the situations are of the people in those areas that they call that, call Pennsyltucky or whatever.
Right. Yeah. You're right about that too. Cause when me and you first went to New York, my in-laws were like, "Are you sure he's going to be okay? I hope he doesn't get killed there." And I was like, "This is the motherfucking safest place I've ever been in my life."
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's really weird because I don't know. They call Grove City Grove Tucky just because it's just working class people, maybe some poor people. It's just southern. It's the southern part of Columbus. It's not even southern Ohio.
What, Grove City?
Yeah.
It's been gentrified though anyways.
A lot of it has.
Yeah.
Everything has been gentrified. Anything they put their idea basically is to push poor people out into a cornfield somewhere and then hope that nobody decides they want to fucking move there so that they can just leave them in a cornfield. Because that's it is when you live in, I don't know. So Columbus, and I've seen this a lot on tour now too. It's like the rings of a tree. Pretty much. You drive in and you hit all the newest stuff, the Target, that shit. And then there's a burned out part of town, and then you're in downtown. You end up downtown where there's stuff again because urban sprawl led it to burn out that whole middle area that was the first sort of suburbs that they were that people were living in. It's like that in Columbus for sure, because it was people moved to Reynoldsburg to get away from downtown, and then those people in Reynoldsburg, once people started to move to Reynoldsburg because they heard it was nice, those people moved to Pickerington, and then once people started to move to Pickerington because it was nice, people moved to Baltimore, and it gets it's crazy. The sprawl sucks and it messes everything up, and it would be just so much easier to make it so that people can afford to live close to where they work.
Right. And like you said, so much of this is totally just class based.
Yes.
class-based animosity. Omaha is one of the most segregated cities in the entire country. I heard the same thing going to school in North Omaha. Aren't you scared? Going north of Ames Street, and
Yeah.
people just they even if they're downwardly in the middle class, not their lives ain't getting any better. They want to hold on to whatever they can to make themselves feel better than somebody else.
Yeah, you're gonna get crushed in the city.
Yeah. The cities are so... I have not yet been to the scary city yet. I mean, there are parts of cities that, maybe at night, you make sure... Like, I didn't want to walk home from the Street Fight Studios with my computer in the dark.
Yeah.
A couple of... on last Wednesday. And when I told John that, he was like, wow, there's no place like that in Vancouver that you wouldn't walk through at night. And I was like, really? And he's like, well, there is this like few blocks where it's like basically an open air drug market that they've kind of just given, over. And I was like, oh, that sounds pretty fucking cool. I'd like to go to the open air drug market part of the state.
Trade this computer in.
Yeah, that sounds fucking sweet. But he said even then it's like you just walk through and it's kind of... It makes you feel kind of sad. It's not like dangerous. So like, yeah. I don't even know if my the neighborhood we're in is dangerous. It's just walking with a computer is, you don't want to do that at night. So yeah, people are assholes. And the reason that sprawl exists is because there are classes of people who don't want to live by people who aren't in their same class. So they keep moving away and away and away. Or in a different class. Sorry.
And there's real estate developers willing to make a profit off of those fearful emotions.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for calling in. It was interesting.
Yeah, good to talk to you guys.
Thank you. Pennsylvania. Do you think there's a Tucky in every state?
There's a Tucky in every state.
You think so?
I think there's, except for Florida.
Florida's just a Tucky. So.
I mean, Tucky is the beginning of the South for the Midwest, and the Midwest is basically urban sprawl from the South. And then when we think we're better than the South, and Kentucky's the beginning of the South for all of us, and like Indiana and Idaho and fucking Kansas and all that shit for Midwestern people.
I think somebody rated us. Hassan rated us again.
Hey, thanks, buddy. Really gotta have us on the show, my friend.
I was gonna ask if any of the if there's a Tucky in every state. So there's that.
Hey, if you are in what's the city in your state that people call Kentucky?
Is there a Tucky in every state? That is all. Let's take this last call and go home. I just took 2 Ativan.
Hey,
I'm on borrowed time.
what's up?
Hey, what's up?
Hi, my name's Sasha.
What's up, Sasha? How's it going tonight?
Well, it's all right. Yeah, it's not what I want to talk about, but since everyone's talking about Disturbed, I just wanted to say that my high school wrestling team, our coach was a big fan of like nu metal. So at every dual meet, every home dual meet, we would walk out to oh wow, and we'd like run around and like do the warm up. And he'd be like playing that song, and then the one that ended it was Riot Maker by Tech Nine.
Nice.
I just thought it was always very funny.
Yep. So what's up, Sasha?
Anyway, first time, long time, so I'm a little bit nervous. But anyways, the other day, my friend came down from that I lived with in college, came down from Austin to where I live. We were just gonna get some dinner and hang out. And I know you guys talk about like stuff like this happening, like you talk about like dealing with like random violence and like trying to stop it and like stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, it was me, my friend, and my girlfriend walking down, what I have always kind of walked down is like a safe street that I've never really like considered anything like this happening. But we're going and a car drives by. I mean, the street's pretty empty, but we were going to, just go to a restaurant. Car drives by, someone yells the N-word out of it, and then immediately stops at the stop sign like 50 feet in front of us, and then like two dudes get out. And they're just, the one guy is just super wasted, and then the other guy is like just looking extremely dangerous. Like, if you ever see someone and their face is just like
angry, and
they're like violent.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like frenzied.
Yeah. Okay.
And all these situations flash where I was just trying to figure out like what is like the best course of action here. Like usually, if it was like say just me or something, I would just immediately run the other direction and get out. But my girlfriend has a bum ankle right now, and I was just like, okay, like, that's not an option. And maybe I was wrong, but the guy looked so crazy to me, at least when he like came out. I was like, oh, this guy would chase me however many blocks to like try to catch me. At least that's just how I felt. Like that's how
I get it.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. It was immediately comes out with like so much intent.
Okay.
But my girlfriend had a bum ankle, and we were like on a hill, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck to do here. So I kind of like, usually what I do in the city is like kind of ignore things until they get to a point where you can't ignore them.
Mm-hmm.
And, walk forward a little bit, and I'm just keeping an eye on him and this other guy. And yeah, he's just getting closer and closer and getting, and when he's about like 10 feet away, I'm like, okay, like this is it, this is it. Like there's two of them. There's me and my friend, and my girlfriend, and me and my friend need to, stay up and like keep distance. I just kept thinking like, if I get knocked out, I'm done. It's like, anyways, he comes
Did
forward.
they say
and
anything to you
I
or to
step up
suggest
and I'm like,
they were coming after you?
So the car passed right by us when we were on the street. Dude yells the N-word out, immediately stops the car like super hard, and then two guys come out.
Doesn't sound like it was
And then
addressing
from
you
then
then.
they just keep. Yeah, no, we were the only people on the street. It was really empty, and it was yelling the N-word at us. Stop, and I caught like eye contact with them in the car.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, like people yell at you in cars and stuff, and you're kind of like, oh,
Yeah, you're like, fuck you, whatever.
That's gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
My wife got yelled at recently. She was walking at night, and she was wearing, I don't remember what color, like red pants. You know what I'm talking about? Or something. She's out walking.
Yeah.
She crosses the street. A guy that's waiting at a stop sign starts to go forward and hit her. 100%. I'm positive what was going on was he was texting, and he just felt like it was time to go. And so she's like, hey, what the fuck? And he goes like this. Well, of course you're wearing all black, and started yelling at her for that. And then she just had to walk away or whatever because I'm not going to fight him. But it's like people do just yell out of their cars.
Yeah.
They love to just yell out of their cars.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I was like, all right, dude's yelling at a car. I don't think anything of it. But then they immediately stop at the next stop sign about 50 feet, get out and start like
both people in the car
making a beeline. Like, so I don't know how many people were in the car. Two guys got out. So, at least one more in the car, like the driver. They both got out the passenger side. And yeah, when this guy's about like 15 feet from me, 10 feet, I was just like, Jesus Christ, like, am I going to really have to do this? Like, this, I can't believe, I really have to like fight this guy. And I was like, this is insane. I can't like, I was thinking of like old, like street. You see like videos like people like fighting on the street, and where it's like people are just throwing haymakers, and then eventually one guy just falls down.
Yeah, I mean, basically,
And I was just like under. It was just like under no circumstances can I be the guy that falls down, because I know there's like more of these people than there are of us, and I don't know what their like intent is, or if they have weapons, or I was just trying to stay calm, and I just totally. So, anyways, I stepped forward and I like put my arm in front of my girlfriend, and I like get my left arm up, and I'm like, oh my god, like I'm gonna have to do this. And then the guy immediately, when I does do that, sprints to my friend who had been kind of walking away into the street and just punches him in the face.
Oof.
He falls down. He like knocks his tooth loose, and I just start screaming "fuck off" and like sprint over to him, because I'm like, if I don't get him up, then it's two versus one. Like we're done. It's that's what I just thought in my mind. I'm just screaming "fuck off" and trying to pull him up, and then I get back in the car and drive away.
So it was a knockout game?
But I mean, that's what it
I
sounds
guess,
like.
yeah,
But also,
maybe.
if you knock one guy out, it's just kind of like, well, all right, I knocked the guy out, I'm out of here. I mean, like, really, I would have ran, maybe.
Yeah. Well,
But
I
if-
guess she has a bad ankle.
Oh, bad ankle. Okay, so I wouldn't have ran with a bad ankle. When something like that happens, like anytime I've ever been in a situation, it's like you said, you just throw a bunch of fucking haymakers. There's nothing, you're gonna get beat up anyway. So just make it so much of a pain in the ass for the people that are doing it that they all get in the car and leave. It's really like that's what your real goal in any sort of situation like that is, to make yourself a pain in the ass. Because like if somebody's coming to rob you, if they have a gun or something or a knife at you, you can take it, but like they will give up that's why people don't come after me, because I'm a big guy and they just don't want to deal with it. So it's really about like, if you get in a situation that you don't think you can get out of by running, then it's the haymakers, baby. It's just make it a huge pain in the ass. So I think you did. You're pretty lucky, and I'm glad nobody got super hurt.
I mean, we got him up, and his teeth were like pushed back, his two front teeth, and I immediately at that moment I just felt guilty. I was like, was there a way to like avoid, this? Did I do something wrong? Because he was visiting, and I'm like, he probably was following my lead, and I just felt so bad. But we drove him to a different city and got like emergency dental work, and it all got put back in. So luckily nobody's scarred. So kind of in hindsight, I was like, I think maybe in the moment I might have like overestimated the threat, or like. Because you just think, like, does this person have a knife or a gun, or what are they really going for here?
Well, yeah.
What's the worst situation?
Yeah, I mean, getting robbed is pretty easy.
Like,
if you
immediately
just hand over
where
your
my
stuff.
mind went.
Like, I'm not worried about getting approached if someone wants to rob me. One of my friends in D.C., he was walking around with his phone out, and this guy walked up and said, "Hey, that's a nice phone." He's like, "I'm going to take that phone." And my friend was like, "What are you going to do if I run?" And he's like, "Do I have to show you my gun?" And he was like, "Ugh." And he like put it on the ground and walked away.
That sucks.
But I mean, that sucks. That's random violence. That is the worst possible thing. Swing first is the best option. Nuts and eyeballs. Don't fight throats, nuts, eyeballs, nothing clean. Don't have any sort of chivalry about it. But that's not going to happen. As nobody is a hero in that situation. Don't beat yourself up. There's nothing you could have known. There's no way to handle that unless you are living in that unless you've been in a lot of situations like that. And it's very rare, you know, to just have someone start fighting
my kind
you
of
on
thinking,
the street.
Once we got close enough, I was kind of like, I was kind of hoping that like they'd like yell some more shit, and maybe, we would kind of be like, also yell shit, and then It wouldn't be too bad. Or,
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of thought like the worst thing I could do was like, not that I would have, but just the worst thing could happen to be like to win or knock the other person down, because who knows how many people are in that car, or, you know, like I was like it's happy that he got his punch in and like felt good and was like, okay, I did it, you know, and then could leave instead of, you know, everything getting out of hand and like an actual fight happening, you know?
Yeah.
Like I was kind of hoping, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, this guy needs to get something. He needs to like feel good.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's like, also don't let it like, I don't want you to let this like make you nervous. I know that like this kind of thing can like traumatize people, and believe me, I've had some shit, you know, happen to me that felt traumatizing and like maybe for a few weeks, but you got to understand how rare this stuff is. And like that's I hope you understand how rare what happened to you is. I guess is the point. I don't want you to be worried when you go out, I guess.
But it's perfectly acceptable too.
Yeah,
because, no one should have to think about they're going to get their fucking ass beat just for walking down the fucking street.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. Well, yeah. I haven't been, you know, I think I've been feeling, I mean, right as it happened, it's just, and the day after, just, you know, going crazy, just so much like, you know, emotions are too high. Right now I'm kind of like laughing about it a little bit, you know, no one got scarred, you know, he's got his teeth back in, you know, all told probably got out pretty lucky if that's it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I have OCD, and like when you kind of go through situations a lot, and I just have been, you know, I know that I'm not supposed to do that. Just going through like, what could I have done better? Or, like, could I have not had my friend get his tooth knocked out or whatever?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But no,
You
For
gotta,
sure.
You gotta accept that it's not helpful. There's no answer.
Yeah.
This kind of stuff, there's no final say on any of it. There's no answer to any of it. It's just a fucking mystery.
When I got robbed, back, it was at gunpoint when I got robbed at the cable company. I spent the whole next day like, you're just like, and it's crazy things that you're even saying to yourself, because really, like, you didn't put yourself in the situation that you were in, and there was not really anything you could do to not be in the situation. And if you got out of it on the other end, then you handled the situation perfectly, is how I feel. So
yeah,
I think I think you handled it pretty well, and glad nobody got super hurt.
Yeah. All right.
Well, thank you for calling.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good night.
Yeah. Best of luck.
You too.
And that is Street Fight, the call-in show. Don't let nobody tell you how to live.
It's a good idea. Well, yeah. Unless it's just someone's going to do it, then they're going to do it. But until then,
ain't nobody going to tell you how to live.
All right. We'll see you on Wednesday. We're doing the show, I don't know, 7 o'clock? 8 o'clock rock? 6 o'clock? 7 o'clock? 8 o'clock rock? Somewhere in there.
6, I don't know.
Who knows?